This episode is all about websites and what size website you should start with. I think you'll be surprised to hear my answer, so let's do this. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Many of you are familiar with the name, of course, because all I do is talk about them. But if it's new to you, Jane is a HIPAA-compliant, all-in-one practice management software and the sponsor of the Up in My Business podcast. The team at Jane knows that your time is valuable, and they've designed online intake forms to help you reduce admin work and so that you can take back your treatment time. Whether you need to collect patient or client data, insurance policy information, health history, or consents, Jane's online intake forms offer a safe and secure way to gather everything you need before your patients even walk through the door. You can also collect payment details securely through your intake form via Jane's PCI compliant payment solution, saving your patients time at checkout and a ton of time for you as well. It is the absolute best feature. To learn more about how Jane's intake forms can help you and your practice, head to jane.app/guide to book a one-on-one demo with a member of the Jane team. If you're ready to get started, you can use the code LEX1MO. Again, that's LEX1MO at the time of sign up to get a 1-month grace period applied to your new Jane account. Welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. I am excited to record this episode. Today is my last day, quote unquote, in office or in my office because we are traveling tomorrow. We're leaving tomorrow. So will be the last day that I'm working at my desk. Of course, I will have my laptop. I'll probably work on the plane because it's a long flight across the country, but last day in office and also last day of doing active client work until next week. And I am only working on Thursday of next week doing like live stuff that I typically do. So I am super just excited, if you will. I think I actually just met with Emma Jack for a call earlier today. And she had said, sometimes we just need some downtime in order to really like bring other things to light. And of course, yes, like I don't know who said it first, but there's a quote out there that's like, in order to be creative, you need to be bored, or creativity comes from boredom. And I don't remember who said it. I have no idea, but I do know that's like a very popular or a very well-known quote in the creative space. So there are a lot of things that have been on my plate for the last 2 months, and I've just been really busy, and I have been, trying to change some things in my business. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I don't really broadcast, whether it's on Instagram or in my podcast or, what have you, in my emails. So really been working on the back end, trying to take care of some stuff in the business. And it's just been busy on top of all of the client work. So I'm truly, truly enjoying everything that's going on in life and business right now. Really, really excited for so many things. So as always, if you're new here, we do start with business and life updates. I am recording this episode before we're leaving, so this will be launched on Christmas. So Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and if you do not celebrate Christmas, happy holidays. I hope you have the best holiday ever. I hope you're spending it with someone, people, a whole family that you love, and they love you, and you have the best day. I am with my family. So Shantae and I are going to visit my family. Moose will be at her dog sitter's having the best time of her life. And Rupert will be holding down the fort at home. So we are spending Christmas with my family. It's also Shantae's brother's birthday. So feel free to go give him a birthday shout out if Shantae posts about that. But By this time, if you're listening to this, we probably posted our Christmas pictures. If you haven't seen them, please go look. They are the best photos ever. We got matching pajamas. We did the whole shebang, and we got Rupert and Moose in a picture together. It was the best. So if you haven't seen those yet, go check them out. I'm assuming by the time you listen to this, we will have posted something on Instagram regarding our Christmas pictures. So I think they're the best pictures ever. I wanted to also update on my mouse. So let me go back to travel before I jump forward there. So traveling wise, we'll be back next week. I'm talking to you as if I am, I'm recording it today, but we'll be back the day after Christmas. I'll let you know how holiday travel is. I saw Anna Hartman was traveling for one of her athletes, I'm assuming, or maybe it was family travel, but she said the airport was busy. So we'll see. I have access to the Delta lounge. So hopefully having lounge access will make it a little less chaotic and crazy. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I have never traveled during Christmas time or Thanksgiving time before, and Thanksgiving was completely easy. It was just the easiest thing in the world. We'll see what Christmas is like. I don't know. But that's kind of the travel stuff. So last week I talked about my mouse, and Shantae had got me a new mouse because I have basically arthritis-ish type symptoms in my finger and my thumb. So I have a lot of overuse stuff because if I had to count, I wish there was like a mouse clicker counter. I bet there is, but I want to say I click 10,000 times a day plus. So my finger has been really, really sore lately. This started like a year and a half ago, and it's just gotten kind of like progressively more annoying. It's not terrible. I can deal with it, but it's like a dense ache in my finger that I always get when I work a lot. And it's always at the end of the day. So typical overuse stuff, And yes, I can do hand therapy. Yes, I can give myself finger massages. Shantae got me a paraffin bath for Christmas. Like, I can do all that stuff, but realistically, the only thing that's going to actually change things is if I change how I'm working. So Shantae got me this ergonomic mouse that her friend recommended. I talked about it last week on the podcast, and it's made such a difference. So yes, it's Wednesday, but I worked all day Monday and Tuesday, and my finger feels great. Truly, it feels great. So if you have patients who are working at a desk and doing a lot of computer work, the Logi or Logi, still don't know. Logi, I think it's Logitech actually. So maybe it's Logi. I don't know. Either way, it's abbreviated on my mouse, Logi. So I think it's Logitech. Either way, Logic is what I'm going to go with. So Logitech. And it's the Lift for Mac. I have a Mac, so they have Lift for Windows as well. But it's a great mouse. It took me maybe an hour and a half to get used to it because the layout is obviously different. Like the way that you hold the mouse is more of a neutral grip instead of a pronated grip. I love using PT terms. I don't get to do that very often. So it's more like a neutral grip instead of a pronated wrist. So it is different, and the way that you move things is different, but I have absolutely loved it. And I'm actually clicking the buttons with my middle and my ring finger, which is so different. But anyway, for all my PTs who are listening to this or what have you, it's a really cool mouse and it does help. So if you're looking for something to recommend, I do recommend that mouse. Trying to think of other personal updates. Rupert and Moose are like getting along. So I would love to go back to like old podcast episodes or old Instagram stories, but if you have been around since July, Shantae and I started off with Rupert and Moose essentially being secluded and being in separate rooms. Like we weren't introducing them to each other at all. They were essentially just not coexisting. We moved into the house together, and since then they've been in the same house, but still just completely separate. So Rupert has his own room. He would come out at night only when Moose was in her kennel. It was just, whatever. And I had to lock Moose up in order for Rupert to roam the house. Now Rupert roams the house and Moose roams the house, and it's all day, every day. And it's so cool. It's been like a true act of patience, or like test of our patience, because it's a lot when two animals don't get along. And not that they don't get along. Rupert didn't want anything to do with Moose, and Moose wanted to play with Rupert. So it's like, when that's the case, it's like unrequited love. It is what it is. You can't do anything about it. So our dog trainer had told us 3 months was the honeymoon period. Stephanie Hine had told us that her dogs and cats were always fine with each other, and it does take some time for them to get used to each other. Yeah, I don't know if you just heard that. My computer just made like a alert for a time. Anyway, She had told us that dogs and cats can get along, and it takes some time. And so we've been waiting patiently, very patiently, but it's happening. And I wasn't sure if this would happen. I, honest to God, had no idea how long it would take, and it's taken since July. So, and we moved into this place in August 15th, I believe, 14th. So it's been like 4 or 5 months. And it's happening, and it's so, so good because we can sit on the couch and the animals can just go do their thing. Moose is still annoying for sure, but Rupert and her are getting along. So that's all the personal updates. I figured like if you're listening on Christmas, it's Christmas. I'm not trying to make this all businessy, but lots of personal stuff updated there. Volleyball is still volleyball, doing all the volleyball things, loving it just as much. And really, like, that's it. It's kind of rainy in SoCal today, so that's a bummer. But I feel like I shouldn't be complaining because I know people on the East Coast have winter. And Shantae always used to tell me that winter is a choice, and I'm now in that boat. So winter is a choice. I'm sorry you're getting snow if you are listening to this. If you got a lot of snow, because I'm also getting snow too, I'm assuming. This is being recorded early. But anyway, all right. Business stuff. Really, there is nothing new yet to report. I am in the process of changing some things, laying out some different stuff. Honestly, there's going to be some changes that won't really be noticeable to most people, but I am going to have just some different things in place and different services that I'm going to change based on feedback I've received and based on doing this for so long at this point. Like, I know what's going to work. I know what type of layout that I need in order to get people the best results. And I know the timelines that we really need to focus on. So I'm going to change some things in the business that if you worked with me prior, you might notice a change, but like realistically, it's not going to be drastic. It's more or less just like, this is a service. This is what you're getting. This is the outcome. And everything is still bespoke. So like we're still doing very custom packages, still making it very much so tailored to your business. So yeah, and I do think that I will be putting out, I want to call it like a bonus episode. I'm literally solving this problem in my head right now. I want to put out an episode where I just talk about what I do. I was talking to Emma and I was like, I honestly don't advertise my services. Like, people talk to me in a DM, people email me, people go to my website. I don't ever really talk about my services on my podcast or my Instagram too much. So that will probably change in the new year, just making it a little, I'm going to say like an expected chat, if you will, of my services. So I'm just going to essentially make a very specific point to talk about my services at a specific period of time, once in a while, not all the time. So just making an active choice to talk more about my services is what I'm getting at. So now that I've done the business updates, because really that's all I've got for you, let's talk about websites. This question came in from a survey that I did on Instagram, basically asking questions about what you should start off with for a website. So I have found that people will think that in the initial stages of their business, they should not have more than like a landing page. I couldn't disagree more. And I know that there are people who say, yes, just get something up, make a landing page, it's fine. Okay, cool. But also we need to have a full website. And by a full website, it doesn't need to be a 13-page site. So for me, the essential pages that you need on a website are your homepage, your about page, your contact page, right? And then your services pages. Home, about, services, contact. That's what you need on a website. And I'm saying absolutely need. So there should be no reason why you can't have a 4-page site when you start out. And you should. You should have all of those pages on a website when you're starting out in your business, regardless of what stage you're at, how often you see people and treat people or what have you, where you're at in your business, income, or who you're treating and how many times you're treating a week, wherever you are, you can still make those 4 pages work. And there's episodes that I have, there's layouts that I have as far as like Instagram posts, and I have a website guide. I have a website planning guide that I'll link in the show notes. It's not hard to create these pages. yes, there's a specific design for each of them. Let's say call it a design that you would want. And if you're designing a website, it's going to be difficult. I understand that because, not all of us can design things. I hear you. And I understand that having the just thinking about doing that, it's difficult. Like knowing that that's on your plate, it's difficult. I hear you. In order to make it more approachable though, I think people really get worried about the copy component, and that can be addressed in two ways. One, use my website planning guide. Like I have that for a reason. It helps you start to lay out your copy in a very reasonable, in a very easy way. I will say that people are very intimidated by writing their copy, and that website planning guide does a good job of making it so much more approachable. Two, use one of my website templates. I will pitch my website templates until they don't exist anymore, which will be never. I truly believe they are the best solution for someone who is just starting out or an experienced business owner, because they are set up exactly how you need them set up for not only like a physio chiro business, but for SEO. I designed the website templates that I have based on everything that I know about copywriting, business ownership as a PT and a PT clinic owner, as well as SEO. So when we're talking about designing a website, people are intimidated by that, I guess, action. They're intimidated by designing a site. They're intimidated by copy. And I think that's where the question comes in of like, how many pages do I actually need? Because they just want to get started. And I hear you. I totally hear you. Absolutely. And when they say less is more, what have you, I actually don't believe that less is more as far as let's only make a landing page and forget the other pages when we first start out. I truly feel like having those 4 pages, home, about, services, and contact, is absolutely positively necessary. And if we can make it easier, let's make it easier. Let's eliminate the fear, because we're asking how big our website should be, likely because we just don't want to, let's just say, we don't want to face that fear head on and say, oh God, I have to design that many pages. Oh, I have to write copy for that many pages. If you use my website planning guide and a website template that I have, it will make it easy. I promise. There are people who I work with all the time who say, this was a lot easier than I thought it would be. You made this easy. And like I said, I will always pitch those templates and my website planning guide because one, the website planning guide is free. And the website templates are less than $500. They're $497, and they include a 45-minute Q&A call with me. So you essentially get a full professional-looking functional website for less than $500. That is so good. As far as pricing goes, that is so inexpensive and reasonable. And the reason I price them that way is because I want people to be able to use these. I want them to be a resource so that people can get a professional website at a low cost, right? And I know that website design can be a gazillion dollars. So I will fully recommend that you go download my website planning guide, go invest in a website template if you don't have a website already, or if you're looking to get a website redesign or refresh, they're a great option as well for those two things. So how many website pages do you need on your website when you start off? Home, about, services, contact. You absolutely need those things. Are there other pages that I would say, yeah, you need them? Yeah, I do think there are other pages that are very helpful to have, but if we're talking bare minimum, home, about, services, contact, you need those pages. If you're asking this question because you're nervous and you are intimidated by writing copy or designing a website, I have 2 solutions for you. My website planning guide, which is free, and I'll link that in the show notes, as well as my Squarespace templates, and I'll link those in the show notes. But other than that, that's all I got for you. I wanted to make sure I approach this question really quick, really easy. I understand where the fear comes from. I hear you, and I hope that I was able to point you in the right direction, give you a couple solutions as far as what you can do about your fear around how many pages you want or need on your website. And if you have questions, please let me know. I really appreciate when people pitch questions and content creation ideas my way. And this was one of them. So thank you to the person who put this question in my Q&A box. And like I said, I put them up every once in a while. So if you have questions, please ask in there. All right. If you're listening on Christmas, once again, Merry Christmas. And I'll be recording. We'll be back in my office next week. So the day after Christmas to do a lot of admin and recording the next week's podcast episode. So you will have time to maybe put in some requests for then. But that's all I have for you. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful holiday and spent it with the people that you love, or just whoever you wanted to spend it with, even if you were just with your dog, because I miss Moose. I will be missing Moose so much. All right, that's it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so, so much for listening.